Alright, Shalom, Israel, Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I would love to give all praise, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachah Kwadash. The honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who's taught us this 100% truth. Shalom to the hopefully elect. Shalom to all the Akim pushing this truth and sincerity. And shalom to the sincere Aquaf to maybe out there watching and learning. It's your brother Yakal from the GMS Columbus, Ohio camp, coming again with another lesson through the Spirit. And Lord willing, in this lesson, just going to go into some quick prophecy. Just dealing with these diseases that's been going around. Of course, you got the hantavirus, which has been a big thing. And Lord willing, if I come across a article, I'll go into that. But another thing that has been popping up a lot lately, Ebola. Now, I forget when it was some years ago, but Ebola was a big thing, but it was short-lived. It was there, and people were, worried about it for a second, but then it died down. But now, more and more news clips and articles been coming out about this Ebola spreading around again. You see, there's been a lot of deaths from it arising again. You see, so and like I say in these videos, man, the things that you see that'll die down, don't think they just went away. You see, and all these things, we're coming into the worst times in history. So all these things are going to be hitting all at one time. You done got Ebola and Hanta and Coronora and some more stuff all at one time. You see? Because don't think the C-19 is gone either, All these things are still around. These are all things that people still deal with, So we can't be oblivious to the facts, okay? So I just want to get a couple pestilence precepts, just to show that these things are in the scriptures and these are things that will be going on in these last days. And then just go into these articles a little bit and just see, what's going on in the news, what's being pushed, What are some of the facts going on with these different diseases, man? Certain things to look out for, man, because we got to do our best to keep ourselves together, in the midst of these things. All right, let's just start at the top. What's this we're talking about? I was traveling through Uganda just as Trump administration announced new restrictive measures to guard against the Ebola virus outbreak for travelers coming from that country, the Congo and South Sudan. Right, so we know, it's supposedly a African derived disease, or primarily in Africa. Okay, but if I'm not mistaken, I've seen some cases that have been brought to the U.S. But we'll see, Lord willing. If I come across it, I'll make a short on my YouTube and put it up there, Lord willing. But it says Ebola spreads as concerns grow over U.S. response. An Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo is fast outpacing containment efforts in the region as questions and concerns mount in the U.S. over the Trump administration preparedness and response. Health experts are warning that the outbreak driven by the Bundibugyo strain of Ebola could be even more difficult to contain than any in the past. You see that? Everything's getting worse. Because like I said, we know that this is something that was brought forth before, and it was a huge scare. All right, now they're saying that this version is worse. Just like, and don't forget about that disease X thing too. You see? And I've even seen with the hantavirus, they're saying that could be even worse than C-19. You see, so everything is getting progressively worse. All right. It says the rare strain of the virus has caused nearly 1,000 suspected cases and more than 220 suspected deaths in Congo, and 7 cases with 1 death in neighboring Uganda. See, the outbreak is already the 3rd largest in history, and the World Health Organization has declared it a public health emergency of international concern. There are currently no approved vaccines or treatments. See, so don't be surprised. Just like my last Pestilence video, through the spirit, these things are just leading to that MOTB, because they, just like when that Hampton situation happened, they were speaking about how some people on that ship that it started on, or that they first seen the cases on, right? Excuse me. Just like they seen, there were some people that so-called got away, okay, and weren't able to be tested or checked. You see? So don't be surprised if they use this as part of the reason to implement a device that is able to keep tabs on you. You see? And of course they'll incorporate, this is going to be easier for payment. This is going to be easier to keep all your information. You don't have to carry your social security card no more, etc. But that's a whole different lesson, of course. But all these things are leading up to the great day. All right? We're coming heavily into Jacob's trouble. All right? Jake is catching hell on all fronts. All right? But this is an important thing to pay attention to, man. These diseases, man, Jake, even us in this truth, man, we're not exempt from catching these diseases. All right? These things can happen to anybody. All right? Even the elect. Okay? That's why we got to do our best, stand on the best, stand in a good light. All right? With Yahweh Shemi Awashai, doing the things that we can to make sure our bodies and we're taking the precautions to avoid these things. See, and that's why it's important that these things come out. Just moving more careful. And as always, I gotta say that to myself first and foremost, man. Because sometimes Jake get lax. Jake is not paying attention. Jake is not doing the things that's needed to keep their health right and keep their mind right. All right. So it's something that we all gotta tap into a little more and continuously try and do better day in and day out. But read a little bit more on this. It says, increased conflict and cuts to global aid funding have dismantled defenses at exactly the wrong moment. The lesson from previous outbreak is clear. Delays cost lives. See? So they're going to try and rapidly come up with something. We got to come up with something right now. We got to do it fast. We got to get it done. We got to get it done. You see? And that's going to come into that great wrath. They know this shit is coming to an end. This shit is coming to a halt. So they got to hurry up. Everything that they do, everything that they got planned, and everything that's coming up, they got to do speedily. Everything they got to do has got to be fast. All right? Because they know the time is getting short. All right? And they see this prophecy coming to pass. All right? And this is just one of many. All right? But we're just going to a few precepts, but I want to start here. Jeremiah 28:8. It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. See? So just as the prophets before us have prophesied and went into, all these different things that will happen in their time, is the same thing that we're here to do now. To pay attention. The Lord has set us as watchmen to pay attention to the things that are going on in this world and to send out that warning, ultimately to the elect. But this truth has been sprung forth on the whole earth, on the whole world. All right. So everyone has heard this truth. All right. But we are to preach this word and send it out so no one can say that they haven't been warned. Okay? And what does this have to end in? Of pestilence. That's one of the many things that we will be dealing with as a people. All right? And them are just the ones that are prominent in the news right now. Hantavirus, Ebola, C-19. But trust and believe there's many more. Shit, your everyday cold, pneumonia, the flu, all these different things. People are dying from them too. You see? It's so many different diseases, that's come upon this world, man. It's crazy. Alright? So it's important that we are paying attention to these things and sending out that warning. Ultimately for the elect's sake. Alright? But just get a few more, Lord willing. Start here, Matthew 24 and verse 7. It says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places." See, these things are coming everywhere. All right. And then it's funny with the Hanta. All right, they're saying that it is a disease that's derived from the feces of animals, of rodents. And when you think about that, these rodents, they travel across your porch and in front of your car and in your trash can that you got to move out to the street every week. They travel to these things every day, every night. You see, they might have pissed at your front doorstep. You won't know. You wake up, it's dried up. You just walking and doing your regular day to day. Then you come in the crib with your shoes on. Even if you leave your shoes at the door, them feces, that so-called airborne thing, is now in your environment, and you can't avoid it. Even the nicest neighborhoods with them nice ass houses, you think they don't deal with rodents and stuff like that? Yeah, they may have more money to take certain precautions that will keep them away, but trust and believe they're around. You see? So all these things that they are saying that this disease derives from, is something that we all been in contact with our whole lives. Every day. You go to work, you step in there, you don't know what done been running around in this motherfucker, man. You see? Just because you don't see it or you ain't seen it doesn't mean that these rodents are not around you, around your environment. See, so that's iffy in that matter. But like I said, it's about control. Who knows what they decided to come up with, and make it seem like it's something that it's not. But they're doing it for a specific reason, to develop a level of control, to send that fear out to the people. All right? Got people moving this different way. You see? Don't be surprised if another lockdown comes. You know what I'm saying? Don't be surprised, man. What's that word I'm looking for? Lock it. Damn. Quarantine. That's what I'm thinking about. But yeah, man, things is happening in this world. But we can end it with this real. 2nd Ezra 15. And look up the word. Okay. 2nd Ezra 15 verse 49, it says, "I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with the destruction and death." See that? The Lord is coming with that fire. See? The Lord is coming. Alright? Slack it.